Hi everybody, Ali Akbarian, your resident road safety expert, back again for another Q&A. Thank you very much for tuning in. We love those questions. Keep them coming and keep commenting on our videos, and we'll answer those questions as well. And in lieu of my beautiful subscribe flag, please hit the button that looks like that one down there somewhere, and let's get us to 10,000 subscribers, and then let's see what else we can get out there. So yeah, let's get into today's question. So today's question is actually in response to a comment that was made on one of our videos, video number 182, and basically it was actually a question and a request for another video, and it basically says, can you please do a video on fitting car seats into a single cab ute? So I've got a video which I'll ask you to maybe look down below in all of our videos or do a search on the YouTube. There is actually our position and information about what we think about sitting in the front row of seats, and you should look at that before you actually fit baby seats in the front of a single cab ute. But what I've got here today is I'm going to talk about things to consider around that, and we've got actually like a single cab van. We didn't have a single cab ute at Mobility Engineering to do the video off, and I couldn't locate one, but what I thought was I'll use this van, which is actually set up almost exactly the same as a single cab ute, and it'll actually cover both vans and single cab utes, and it's the same principle anyway. So we have a position on sitting in the front seat. We recommend that you do not sit in the front seat as a child in a child seat. However, and we've got a video all around the dangers around that, and we highly recommend that you look at all other options. However, we do also understand that there are some situations where people just have no other options. So then what do you do in those situations? So let's have a look here. We have a van here which has a front row of seats only. So I'll just open up the door for you. So as you can see, what you have is two seats in the front, which is very similar to what you would see in a single cab ute, right? And then we have nothing in the back. So in a single cab ute, what you might have normally is a small gap here, and then you'd have like a wall, like a big solid wall here. So the only difference between the van and the ute is that the van has no wall and the ute would have a wall. Otherwise, the setup is almost exactly the same. So everything we speak about from this point in is going to apply in the same way. So first of all, fitting of the car seat. We've spoken about this before. The front seat has got a myriad of dangers. So if we have to avoid it, or if we can avoid it, please avoid it. You've got the airbag, which is quite dangerous, and that can cause some major injuries to children. And you've also got a distraction factor by having a child in the front seat and distracting the person, then significantly increasing the chances of an accident. So there's those kind of elements there that we highly recommend that if you can, put a seat in the back or have another type of vehicle. But like I said, we do understand that everybody is individual, and some people do have the need to carry their children in that front seat of the vehicle. So if that was the case, what should you do and how should you fit it? So in terms of fitting it, it's got to be fitted very much securely using the seat belt. Front seats don't have ISOFIX, so you can't fit an ISOFIX system. So you will have to use the seat belt to secure it. There'll be information on that. We've got videos on how to secure baby seats and all that kind of stuff. So have a look at that. We're not going to give you tips on how to fit a baby seat in this case. It's more about what you're going to do in the front seat of the vehicle. So let's say if I fitted my seat over there, we're just going to do a pretend fit just for the purpose of the video. So now we're pretending that we've got this all fitted in and nice and secure, right? So with a baby seat, we have the seatbelt that, particularly in the front seat anyway, we have the seatbelt that secures it, and then we have what we call the top tether strap, which is this strap that comes over the top and then goes down the seat and down to the bottom. And normally you have it hooked onto a parcel shelf or on the seat back, right? So we have a whole bunch of problems with this right now moving forward in the front seat of a vehicle. The first thing is, if you look on the back of this area, and that'll be the same in any single cab, you do not have anchor points fitted for the front seat. So this top tether strap has nothing I can hook onto for the front seat, right? So what does that mean? That means I'm going to have to go and get a modification done, and there's nothing that is built off the shelf. There's no products that I can buy for this. So I'm going to have to go and get something custom fabricated, custom engineered, custom designed, custom installed, and then certified, and do all the rigmarole and paperwork around that. Again, that's all possible. I'm allowed to do that. I just have to go through a whole bunch of hurdles, or jump over a whole bunch of hurdles to get to that point. To give you an idea, just the starting price for an engineer's sort of sign off, and that's just the paperwork side of it, you're looking at like $1,100 or that kind of money. And then on top of that, you've got to get the custom work done, the design work done. Generally speaking, to fit an anchor point in a car like this, you might be looking at a couple of $1,000s by the time you've even started. So for a lot of people, that might be the sort of the sign that, hey, I can't actually fit the seat. So, but if you can go over those hurdles and you can get an anchor point in there, then you can fit your baby seat in there, and you would run your top tether strap over to the anchor point. However, there is also another concern here, and another thing that you need to think about and you need to manage. The other concern is, if you look, this particular strap here, it comes from the side of the restraint there. So if I was to tie it down, it won't actually tie properly. So I need to figure out a way to get it up onto the top of that seat. In this case, I might have a pretty good option, because I should be able to get it down through the middle of the headrest, and if I can get an anchor point down there somewhere, then I can fit the seat. Right? But the last thing I want to mention about fitting the seat is, like I said, you have a small child in this position where it's not designed for children, it's designed for adults. So the last tip we want to talk about in terms of if we are going to fit a seat, which, like I said, we don't recommend, but if we have to, we can, is to push this seat as far back as it will physically go. So we're talking about the front seat, not the baby seat. So if I've lifted the lever here, I will push this back as far back as it will physically go, and I will lock that in that position. Why am I doing that? Because I want to avoid the possibility of an airbag actually impacting onto my child. Because if the airbag impacts onto the child, that's when the significant chance of the injury will increase. And very, very quick side note, when we start talking about airbags to a lot of people and how they're dangerous for children, then a comment does commonly come up to say, well, then why don't I disconnect my airbag? And that's an absolute no-no. It's illegal to do that, but it's more dangerous because you've got a very, very hard surface that you can impact. So airbag is better than not airbag. Airbag is just not suitable for children. Okay, so hopefully that kind of answers a few of the questions around fitting a baby seat in the front seat. Thank you very much for tuning into those questions. Front seat of single cab utes and vans. And as we always say, hit that subscribe button, like that flag over there, and it's somewhere down there, and keep those questions coming, and we'll see you next time.